Hey guys, welcome to the next video. So in this section right here, module one is versioning through GitHub and using SDLC, so software development lifecycle. And it's important that we, moving forward with this course, we want to make sure that we're following the continuous integration and development process. So continuous integration and development, what does that mean? So when you're developing a piece of code, so for example, I'll pull up Notepad or Sublime or something like that. So kind of talk through it a little bit. Pull up Sublime. And let's pull up a new screen. All right. So, let's say we have 4 developers in our group. Okay. And so we have a project, single project. This project is developing some type of web application software or whatever. So develop software to automate AI ChatGPT functionality. We're just making this up. All right. So you have 4 developers. You have a GitHub repository, repo. You have a host site where web app lives, right? So one of the things is you have continuous integration. So continuous integration, you have continuous development. I spelled that wrong? Maybe. All right, so how does that work? How does that work? Well, that's key. You in this class you're using GitHub, so you're using terminal or git bash to commit code to multiple branches. So we'll say, hypothetically, in a work environment you have a dev branch, you have a stage branch. Well, maybe not even so much of a stage branch. You might have something called a dev branch, a feature branch, and then you might have a main branch. Okay. And so you're committing your code to these environments. And so we'll say dev, we have development environment, for example. So you push it eventually to, actually, usually people have a sandbox, then a dev branch. Okay. So you would have these different branches and you would commit code to different branches. Eventually what would happen is, in order to get to the site, so this is what you guys have been doing at this point. You've committed your code to your branch, and then you're downloading your code, and you're going up on FileZilla and you're uploading. Well, we want to get rid of that. We want to do it that way is a good way to learn. We want to go into the continuous integration, so we're always integrating into a host site. So you have this host site, for example, where the website lives. Okay, where the website lives at. And I'll show you guys an example of what we did. So what website lives there, boom. So you have this host site that's always going on. The other thing is you always want to be able to push code to that. So if you have multiple people working on an environment, continuous development. So anytime code is deployed to GitHub, you want something to pick it up and push it out, and that's what we're going to learn how to do. So we had a project last semester for a local repository, a local company called Sunfresh, and so let's see if I remember my password. All right, so I don't remember my password. All right, so we had this repository where we constantly worked on stuff where people had to develop, and all this stuff didn't happen overnight. We were constantly working on people going out here and doing different things. So we built this environment for a company to go in here, keep their inventory, update their inventory. Like for example, if they want to add to inventory, they come here and add, submit an order. It's using APIs on the back end. They can view customer orders in here, pulls up information. They could type in stuff. So for example, they want to type in Cliff, they can. It pulls up his information. They want to type in Seaman. Yes, I'm a customer. Actually, a lot of people bring customers and test. So they can pull all that information up. They have the ability to go down here and modify inventory. So all this information was developed in a team. I had 15 software developers or 15 students developing this code, and we were constantly doing continuous integration. We're using several different elements to make this work. But for this class, we'll just learn to Netlify, and then when we get over to learning how to build APIs, that'll be a whole different story, a whole different video. So anyways, I want to kind of give you guys an example. So we logged out. I thought I logged out. I found myself a bug. All right, so we want to set up a Netlify account. Now, I already have one set up, but I'm going to show you guys how to sign up. So I'm going to use one of my alias email addresses. You can set up through GitHub if you want. That would probably be even better if you could do that. But in this case right here, I'm just going to sign up with the email. I'm going to use my buy the grapes at Gmail account. I give myself a password. Sign up. Yep. It's probably gonna. All right. How would you like to plan to use? We're gonna say school. What kind of site are you gonna use? We're just gonna say school project. What describes your role? In my case, I'm a teacher. You'll put student. What is the name of your project? I'll just call it AI. That's it. And then I'll say continue to deploy. And now it's going to say deploy to your different repositories. In this case, we're using GitHub. So I'm going to say deploy to GitHub. And this is where you're going to have to sign in with GitHub. And you have to choose the repository that you want to use. In this case, we set up AV. Someone choose AV. And then say deploy AV to Netlify. Perfect. This will be your first deployment. Now, when you have a free account, you only have so many deploys that you can do. So as you see here, it's building your information. It's doing a clone on it. It's building progress. It went pretty quick. Deploy success. Great work for setting up status quo. Your first site is on Netlify. Now it gives it a URL. You can set up your custom URL, and we could talk about that later. So awesome. So here's your site. You could go out to this URL here. You can see if it's completed. It is completed, so we could come out here. As you see, you can walk through and set up a custom code. That's completely up to you, but not required in this class. I think I mentioned that in the syllabus. So I'm gonna go to all sites. I'm gonna go right here, and let's see here. Oh, there's your URL right there. Page not found. Looks like you followed a broken link. Okay. Maybe it's not set up completely. All right, so maybe we have to set up the site and do this stuff here first. It's been a minute. Production deploy keys, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's still not working. Set up your site. Site is deployed. Set up a domain name. We don't want to do that yet. We don't have to do that. Huh. It should be up and running. This should be all we had to do where it was published, but it's not. Oh, you know what? It's working. We don't have a site out there yet. We just have there's nothing out there. We just had a file, a test file. So if we put like an HTML file out here, then it should work. So let's actually do that. Let's test that out real quick. So let's do this here. So let's go into Visual Studio Code real quick. Let's do new window. Close that out. Close that out. All right, so let's go to that folder that we set, that test folder. Open folder. Documents, test, AV, boom. So let's click open here. Let's just set up something simple. We're going to set up a index.html page. So we'll do HTML. Oops. Yeah. So, shoot, cancel. Title, home, heading, nothing in the heading for now. Let's do our body, that's where we'll put something at. We'll put heading 1, test this out. That's it. So we'll save that. Let's open up Terminal real quick. Let me show you something. You could actually open up Terminal in Visual Studios if you already don't know this, which is really helpful. So you can come in here and do New Terminal. So this is another place that you could use. So let's do PWD, list. All right, there's my code. Perfect. I'm gonna do get status here. Perfect. Get add. I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna do a commit, adding test site. Boom. All right, there we go. So next thing I'm gonna do is I edit that. I'm gonna do get status, make sure it's green. We're good. I'm gonna say get push origin. All right, so it pushed it up there. All right, so next thing I'm gonna do here is go out to my GitHub, which is here. I'm gonna refresh it. Perfect, it shows that it's out there. So now we need to go over here and refresh this site because we deployed text out there, so nothing's gonna work. It's not gonna show us anything that we deployed. So, and we have to wait for it to kick off on our deploy since we have a free account. It's gonna take a minute for it to publish. So let's see here. All right, so it's sitting out there. Oh, maybe it did do it. All right, go to builds. All right, so it did do it. So I know that you only have so many builds when it's free. So let's go out to sites real quick. All right, so it looks like it worked. So if you go out to the site, here's the site right here. There you go, test this out. So you see how quick that was? We went, we uploaded code, we pushed it up to GitHub. GitHub communicated with Netlify. That right there, guys, ladies and gentlemen, that is called continuous integration and continuous development. It's beautiful when it works. When it doesn't work, it's not so beautiful. But for the most part, like I said, you don't have to provide. This will be what I'll be looking for with the modules. So when we get into week 1, is you're setting this environment up and having fun. Week 2, you're setting up a small little site on week 1. Week 2, you're setting up more. You're learning CSS. Week 3, we're going into jQuery, so you're adding some more Flash to your site. Module 4 is when you guys start talking about, hey, we're going to team up. So we're going to take some of you guys and ladies and team you up in a little mini project for a week. Nothing spectacular, nothing crazy, but we're going to learn about pull requests and how that works and so forth. Modules 5, 6, and 7, we'll get into APIs. I made those 3 weeks because they get pretty intense. First week is we'll learn Node.js. If you haven't learned Node.js before, we'll write everything in that language, which is it's a TypeScript, basically what we're using. For JavaScript, we're going to learn how to use another product instead of. We're also going to be using Netlify for continuous integration development, but we're going to use another product for a service that we're going to run out there. So we're going to build a service. This service is going to run our APIs, and that's basically what we're going to learn. We're going to learn how to add data. We're going to learn how to modify data. We're going to learn how to potentially delete data. We're going to learn how to build a small screen, and just in JavaScript, and how we could put all that together. So that is the fun part. And then last week is the software development piece, architecture, that's the design, the documentation, and so forth. So I hope you guys are ramped up. I hope you're excited about advanced programming. I made some modifications to it to make it more exciting, to bring more reality to the common ground, the things that you would face in the industry. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be challenging. So reach out to me if you have problems. Don't wait till module 8. Reach out. Let's talk about it. Thanks for watching this video, and best of luck.